Hi guys, I'm Pacific, and welcome back to another episode of Battlefield 1 commentaries, I guess that's what I call it. And this time, I want to talk about a little topic that came up when I was talking to my friend yesterday, and it's the fact that Battlefield, oh my gosh, that was everybody, but the fact that Battlefield 1 is slower than Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline. So in case you haven't really played Battlefield 1, it is slower than Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline because, frankly, the guns, they play very differently than traditional shooter games of even ones based in World War II, all the way up to our Vietnam games, modern games, stuff like that. And it's mainly the guns that play weird because the guns in this game, they feel very clunky, they kick back a lot, and your character, like, they can aim, but your character has a lot more gravity to them. Basically it goes like this. You're playing in Battlefield 1, right? You're just hanging out, and usually when you see a guy you're defending, you're like, oh, there's a guy, and then you like shoot him like this. Like I go, oh, there's a guy, and I shoot him like that, back off, reload, or kill another guy. While in other games, it was like, oh my gosh, there's a guy, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna like freaking do this, clear him out, just go like this, like you raid them, completely just annihilate them, right? That's a modern game, is annihilating. In Battlefield 1, it's a lot of, oh, there's a guy, I got him, big deal, he died. I gotta reload, go to the next guy. Because there's no, like, you can kind of speed load, oh my gosh, I just ran straight into fire, but you can kind of speed load some guns, but the way that the guns feel and the way that they just kind of handle and reload and all of that combines into this experience to where you're not a super soldier. You are a what is going on, okay? But you're a soldier like everyone else in the game. And that's actually pretty historically accurate if you think about how World War I went, which was basically everyone in, the militaries would go in, they would go to this war, right? Then the people who were running the propaganda for recruiting new soldiers would be like, oh, you go out and you kill everyone and you come back a hero, da-da-da. They weren't showing the real effects of the war, which was like brutal, like just death. So a bunch of young people ended up joining the war, and they were inexperienced, and they were not super soldiers by any means. So, I mean, it makes sense from a historical perspective that your character would not be like this super soldier, because even, Battlefield 1 Hardline, or Battlefield Hardline, not Battlefield 1 Hardline, Battlefield Hardline is you play as a cop, right? Or a robber, but if you played as a cop, you immediately had to assume that your background was in the police academy. So if you're in the police academy, right, that means you've had maybe not extensive training with weapons and scenarios, but you've had more training than the average person, even more gun training than hillbillies, even all sorts of different things. You have more training than a normal person in firefight situations. You're not going to run away, you can reload your guns faster, all this stuff as compared to basically a kid in World War I. And I think that the slowness and the gameplay of this game may drive people away because, it's supposed to be, I said this in another video, it's supposed to be a single player mission with the multiplayer aspect. It's not supposed to be as fast paced as, a modern multiplayer game that takes place in our time. But it's also not supposed to be a super slow, super cinematic, you're not doing anything, single player game. But it just leads into this slow gameplay of, yeah, you really are not better than anyone else in this game. Like, this game is definitely less skill and more teamwork as well as timing. Like, it's less physical reaction skill and more mental and social skill. Because if you think about it, if the playing fields are even, you have one soldier go against another soldier. Each soldier has a 50% chance of winning, right? If you have a 2-on-1, the two have about, just on average, a 75% chance of winning. Then, if you include, like, one of them has way better aim than the other troops, that increases their chance of winning. Way better timing, more chances. And then, if those two troops do the pincer effect, where one of them goes in front, one of them goes behind, and stuff like that, after that, the one troop is basically going to die unless they are Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee. That's just a fact. So this game takes a lot more mental power than other games. You can't casually play this game, basically, and expect to win a lot, like other modern fast-paced multiplayer games, because the fast-paced ones, you feel like an absolute beast, you're just a badass with a gun. This one, not so much. And I actually really, really like the slower pace of Battlefield 1. It's actually quite interesting, Battlefield 1 is slower, yet I like it more, even though, the first shooter game I got into was Halo, and the second one was actually Call of Duty. So, if you know me, you might be wondering why I like this game and its slower nature. And that's really because it gives me a chance to really experience it more than, let's say, Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty, while it may be a casual game, it's still not, I still have to put in a good amount of time before I find any success in it. In this game, really, you can run into objectives and not kill anyone and still be successful and feel like you've accomplished stuff while you're playing the game. And I also like it because I prefer, more of the time anyway, I prefer games that, I don't care about graphics. I care about games that convey feelings because of the game, not because of the players. Rainbow Six Siege actually finds that extreme happy medium with it. Because while yes, the game is probably, I would say, 70% based on player-made as the players, right? It still has elements of, this is like the game, It gives you a simulation of being like a cop or whatever. You gotta kill the terrorists or whatever, you gotta do that stuff. While Call of Duty, I'm not saying Call of Duty is a bad game, obviously it's not, because lots of people play it. Call of Duty is more of, let's play the game. There's kind of an atmosphere, but not as much as other games, at least not as much as I would personally like for an atmosphere. And then it's just a show of, we're gonna shoot at each other, and then the best skilled player wins. Which I do like it when games definitely require you to have skill, because if they didn't, what's the point? You're never gonna get any better at the game. There's no point in playing the game, because it's like, oh, I play the game initially and you don't get an expanded upon experience after that if it's too easy. And what the heck am I getting shot from? Probably a tank. I just like it when the game itself provides you the experience, but then your player skill is not the focus. It actually enhances your experience. And I think that's really why, Battlefield 1 is a bit slower. There's historical accuracies and whatnot, but it also kind of needs to be slower to keep the cinematic and the emotion, almost emotional feel of the game. I've been playing Battlefield 1 for a little bit now, and what I mean is I don't know how many hours I put into the game, but I've put in probably more than the average person, at least a little bit. And when I play St. Quentin Scar, which is the map I'm playing on now, and I still fly over the trenches, I still have the same feeling of, oh my gosh, It's muddy, it's dirty, it's brutal, and we need to kill each other, or else we just get killed. And I like it when a game takes the initial experience that it gives you, and it keeps giving it back. That first wow factor. I still get the wow factor. I get the feeling of the wow factor. I obviously don't get wowed by this game as much because I've been playing it. I've experienced a lot of things for the first time, you know, stuff like that. I probably shouldn't be in the playing because I'm being useless. But, you know, at the end of the day, the game, I personally think it needs to be slower for historical accuracy, as well as what it's trying to achieve, which is awesome experiences that are not fully based on the players, but a good chunk of it is based off of just the game itself. So if you want to share your experiences with me in the comments below, your thoughts, you know, your ideas of Battlefield 1, the video game. Is it too slow for you? Is it too fast for you? Do you like it slow? Do you like it fast? All that good stuff. Go ahead and tell me that in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new because I will be making more of these commentary videos. I'm P.M Pacific. See you all in the next episode of whatever I decide to make. I totally tried to kill that guy without looking at him and failed epically.